What is going on, cool cats, kittens, dogs, cats, camels, gorillas, whatever you are, it doesn't matter, you're all welcome here at Dub Saw Shop. I just stepped out to the shop. I do got the GoPro strapped on, getting ready to do some work on a four-wheeler for my daughter. Need to replace the carburetor. But I came in the shop yesterday afternoon and decided we ordered our OEM parts, the intake block, gaskets, crank seals, OEM carb. So pulling this thing down, I learned a few things, and being as we got it down, I figure you might like to take a peek. So we're gonna spin around, hop over in there, and let's take a look at this thing. Everything looks pretty dang good. Crank looks good. Machine work there looks good. The piston looks good. Big old whopping frickin' piston, man. Big whopper. So when I pulled the cylinder off, I found that the gasket that goes here is a bit oddly shaped in a way. Or this block is oddly shaped in a way. But where this block was on here, when I finally pulled this off, the gasket ripped apart. A lot of it stayed behind. But I learned that this impulse hole was being covered up. And there was probably only about that much of it that was actually providing impulse. So I'm thinking that is probably why this thing kept going lean at higher RPMs. Cylinder looks pretty good. Intake, it's kind of got an intake made similar to the 288, 281. The exhaust port, it's got a pretty decent arch on it. As far as the chamfering goes, it's actually got very nice chamfer work done on the exhaust port. Good chamfering work on the uppers. None on the lowers. The lowers are very small. For a saw this big, it's got a huge step in here that you could raise this up, probably widen these out a little bit, and reshape them uppers. It's kind of rounded out on the end. This one's even more rounded out on the end. Pretty small. There is a few casting marks in here that could probably stand to be cleaned up. Chamber's got a little step in it. Really not a lot of squish area here. That may be good, may not be. I have no idea. Never built one of these. Anyway, the cylinder looks pretty good. Plating looks good. It does have a few almost, I'm not saying it scratches because I haven't really wiped it or cleaned it. It's just how I pulled it off the saw. All in all, very, very, very nice. Very nice on the inside. I went ahead, pulled the base gasket off of here, so we are going to be going ahead. We may end up doing some port work before we put it back on. Why not? but it's probably going to be very mild. It's cleanup work. The windows and the piston, they're pretty decent sized. Could definitely go a little bit bigger with them. Set the piston and the cylinder and mark the width for this lower and kind of open it up to where it matches. That way you get all the flow you can. More than likely this thing is going to get some monstrosity finger ports in it, maybe a bridge port. We will cross that bridge when we get there. With the intake gasket issues, I think that's why it was going lean in the cut when you had a wide open throttle. I think it was using all the fuel that it had available and then leaning up. And then when you slowed it back down, it was able to pump fuel back into the carburetor, use it, go lean. Yeah, so thinking that's the issue. We will definitely find out when we get our gaskets and stuff in. It's just a big giant hollow can. No baffles, very light. So I'm thinking my plan is I'm probably gonna hammer these down and weld these little louvers up. Put us probably 2 1-inch outlets here. So I think my plan is I'm probably gonna come up probably somewhere in here and cut this off. Get rid of this top section. That way we can put our 1-inch outlets in there. That'll be phase 1 for this. And then later on, once we hop into the really high performance port work, it is going to be getting piped. So yeah, that's going to be fun. This thing is going to sound freaking wicked. Tell them. It's going to be wicked. But yeah, I figured you guys like to see that. Just a little sneak peek of the inside of this thing. But parts should be here hopefully next week. And we'll start working on this thing. So, oh, these lights killing me. So yeah, that's inside the 8120. Let me know what you guys think. You guys have a good one. Dubs, we out.